Okay, and we are live. Okay, welcome everyone on this Monday, the 27th of July, 2026. Welcome back to Developer Sync. Um, we're going to jump straight into it today. So, community updates. We have been working in the background. This isn't such an exciting development on the development side of things, but we have been working in the background to facilitate stakeholder unlocks recently, which is a promise that has to be kept. Of course, we have to make good on investor commitments, vendors, partners, team. So yeah, stakeholder unlocks. There has been some questions about this in the community today. Everything is on chain. If you go on the forum, you'll see the wallets that were the token escrow wallets. The delivery contracts are hedgy contracts, and it all takes place on Auto EVM. You can use our Block Scout Explorer. You can one-shot a tracker with your favorite LLM if you feed it the forum post, the wallet post. I'll try and remember to put it in the comments down below if you wanted to take a run at that. So yeah, not super glamorous, not super exciting, but the initial stakeholder unlocks took place on the 16th of July, which was 12 months after TGE. And we do invite everyone to audit those contracts and token movements. We're very transparent, very open. So please do that. Okay, we have had a community contribution to enhance the mobile experience on staking site. It's been a bit of a marathon. If you are watching, we love contributions, but if the author of that commit is watching, it was a great process working together on that, and I'm pleased we got it over the line. The interesting thing there is that so it was against our Auto Portal repo, and the Auto Portal repo is one of the 4 repositories included in our contribution contest, which has up to 1,000 USD worth of AI3 available each month. Entries are reviewed at the start of the following month. And as I said, we are always very grateful for meaningful contributions. You have to have a merged PR. So if you are thinking of working on something, you're leaving it a bit late for this month. It's not, out of the question, but just be aware of the cadence there. So yeah, thank you for that. And I see we've got a follow-up PR as well, which we're going to take a look at as soon as possible. Something that I don't think we mentioned on the last DevSync is that we have dropped a refreshed website. Again, I'll pop the link in the notes below. We announced it with a blog post. So the autonomous.xyz website, the main website, has been updated to really try and sharpen the autonomous network, the DSN value prop. And there's also a subdomain as well, agent.autonomous.xyz, which speaks specifically about, it's dedicated to agent memory. And of course, we have our skills, which actually is something I didn't include in the notes. So yeah, in case I didn't mention it last time, we have a couple of agentic skills, which are published on Claw Hub. We have auto memory and we have auto respawn. And they were recently updated so that they don't just support OpenClaw, they also support Hermes. Nearly forgot that one, missed that out of my notes. But the easy way to find it is to go to agent.autonomous.xyz, and they're linked in there with a kind of a really tight explanation of what they are all about. One last thing I wanted to talk about very quickly is that, as usual, we don't have a great deal of hot topics to kind of talk about because farming is pretty straightforward. We do have something interesting going on though. We've got one community member who is struggling on what seems like a slightly exotic IP6 setup. And just wanted to let people know that log files are probably the most useful thing that you can provide. Yeah, we've asked for those. If you're watching this, then please do provide log files. That is it from community updates from me. So in a change to the usual order, actually, I'm going to hand over to Ved. So Ved, do you want to tell us what you've been up to, please?
Yeah, hey folks. So on the engineering side, most of the effort has been went into the WGPU migration. So the way that Subspace currently is structured is that we have the GPU code, but we write them specifically for a specific platforms, like one for AMD, one from like ROCm. But with WGPU that we are going to bring out from Abundance project, which is again being pushed by Nazar, is that WGPU kind of works as a single code base for all of these platforms, and it also has the extra benefit of working on Metal, which is on Mac machines, which we never universally did. Again, we are not live there yet. Like, I mean, we have been testing it on M1, which has been working great, but again, we are not gonna support it yet as of now until we are quite sure if things are gonna be like. But this is good in the sense that we just got this without zero work, like it's just completely out of the box. So that's pretty great. And there are a future fixes that's going to come to WGPU that makes it even much faster with a so that those all just be a version upgrades, right? So that's been our major focus. Jim here has been helping us run the test version of that, and so far it's just been going fine. We did not see any unexpected issues, just usual user experience issues that we wanna while testing these things out. Then a small amount of time went into like storage cost fixes. So if you've noticed a couple of weeks back, there was a drop in the storage cost during the time when we were moving funds from consensus to domains. So that as what Jim brought up about the community stakeholder unlocks, everything is kind of connected to this some more. There we noticed that as the AI3 starts to flow through consensus to domains, we started to see the storage prices dropping down. That was kind of an expected, but not an feature. It's a bug. We just didn't know that it existed until the use case presented itself. So far, our initial test cases were not major movers in the sense like there was not a major movement of AI3 from one space to the other through XTM because like it was an expected thing, but we never tested it across the system. Like only with an XTM when we were doing in the XTM game of the challenge that we did with the XTM. So that was something that we were only mostly focused on XTM, so we didn't expand it a bit more scope or high. But with this, we realized that the consensus storage is kind of tied to that, and we are actively looking into getting that fixed. Yeah, that's pretty much on our end. Thanks.
Thanks, Fred. Yeah, so an undocumented feature is probably the kind way to explain that. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why we have the initial protections, like a cap on the number of storage credits you can accumulate and an expiry date. We do see a future where they are lifted, but exactly these kind of early stage discoveries are why they were introduced. Yeah, so we're planning to kind of fix that once and for all this week. So keep an eye out for that. But really, it's kind of in the back end, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Also,
I just
good time to buy your storage if you want to at a much cheaper price before that. So just wanted to
absolutely,
give that.
absolutely. If you can use it in the next 90 days, today is a great day to buy storage. Um, and I just wanted to touch on the WGPU as well. So yeah, I've been testing as just as a team member who does run a farm, and so I didn't want to understate. You know, as Ved said, he said we get this for free, but there has to be a shout out to Nazar and the Abundance Project. and Ved's been able to take the work that Nazar's been doing over there and backport it into the subspace protocol, which is what the Autonomous network runs on. Yeah, and it's exciting because there are some kind of developments that are coming that we get almost for free, just on kind of performance improvements that are being made on the WGPU implementations. It gets quite involved, but as I understand it, the kind of the shaders can be optimized, and that's kind of something that we can inherit for free. So that's a really great kind of improvement there. And also, I personally, it's been a learning experience for me about how to try and really rinse every last kind of ounce of concurrency out of your plotting. So it's something that I can speak with a bit more authority on now. So I appreciate the back and forth between myself, Ved, and Nazar. So there are really great improvements for the farming experience. We're not actually asking for testers just yet, are we, Ved?
Um, no, not yet. I mean, I do not want to give that out until we are like absolutely sure. With Jim, I can take that excuse to break his farm and then he will be able to farm it back. But I would rather not say that for everyone outside. Give us a couple of more days, maybe a week or so. I think we should be able to get a build for testers who really want to try and also be on the edge of the sword. It does bleed, so we can like maybe week and a half, and then I think we should be there. And this will come out in the release in the next coming releases, so we do want to push it out faster, but it also depends on the testing from all the testers as well.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the reservation we have, is that this is experimental. Everything is open source, of course, so you can do some detective work and find these builds on GitHub. But yeah, they do come with the caveat that we are still testing, and if you wreck your farm, please don't moan at us. Try it on smaller farms, but that's where I am at the moment. Is now we're trying it on much bigger farms. We're past kind of just testing replotting and making sure that the kind of the crossover between the old plots and the WGPU build plots, sorry, are working, and everything looks good so far. But yeah, just be aware of that if you do want to try and test it out beforehand.
And one small thing here before I say, like, we are calling it a WGPU at this point because we have two GPU implementations and we want to be very clear where we are moving out from and where we are coming down to. But as soon as this one lands, we're just going to go back to calling it as GPU itself, like no other new names for it. WGPU is just a kind of like a library that provides us this beautiful transpiler for all of these platforms for GPU. So just pointing it out.
That's a great correction, actually, because I got not told off, but I did get corrected by Nazar. The build that I'm using ends in WGPU, so I've been using that, and now it's kind of stuck with me a little bit, but I will unwind that.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I'm saying like I do not want to give it out for everyone to try it out, because there are a lot of user experience things that like once you see them and then you just kind of like stuck with it, and it's hard to like move away from it.
Yeah, so it should just be totally transparent by the time this gets rolled out into kind of the main release branch. Okay, thanks, Ved. Okay, Emil, do you want to tell us what's been going on in AutoDrive? Again, it's a lot's been going on there, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like week by week, we're still improving on AutoDrive, improving user experience, but also at the same time, at times we're facing some interesting use cases, seeing some bottlenecks. So, for example, last week we've seen a huge spike in the number of uploads. Like, namely, we've had over like almost 300 files uploaded within 2 minutes, and that definitely allow us to basically it was a natural stress testing of the system, and that allows us to find some edge cases and address them. So yeah, I'm happy to elaborate more about it. So this has given us like an insight of what's been going on within the system and how we can make it even better. Where do we see the bottlenecks and what kind of improvements we can make. So for instance, as I mentioned, since we experienced this huge spikes in uploads, we realized that there was an opportunity to move the can address some of the pre-publishing pipeline, make some improvements. For instance, like we moved the pre-publishing worker into its own queue. So now there is no, now there's a bit more of parallelization of work, and the slowdown in pre-publishing pipeline is not slowing down any other queues. Also, in case there has been any disconnects or unusual chain conditions, previously, in some cases, we needed to handle this manually. But now we've introduced yet another worker that that is pretty much self-healing, so that in case we realize that some of the uploads might have been stuck or been slower than expected, it would automatically go and retry the re-uploading the files, so that we never have to kind of manually reconvene. So yeah, once again, there was a natural stress testing, which allows us to make some improvements, like backup improvements and infrastructure improvements to AutoDrive. And of course, the work continues on kind of rounding our S3 compatibility, especially around the soft deletions. For those who missed the last developer sync, we've mentioned that last time that we're introducing soft deletions across to AutoDrive, so across all our interfaces, including the S3 and our clone. It doesn't change the fact that all the files that are uploaded to AutoDrive are permanently stored. So the soft deletions doesn't mean that we actually go and delete something from the DSN, because it's technically impossible. But what we're doing with scraping of the metadata, we are deleting everything but the files themselves. So they pretty much disappear from the API, from the SDK, from the UI. So the files cannot be downloaded. That's what we're calling soft deletions. And UI now supports it, and now we are slowly progressing and changing all of the function, all the signatures to improve the S3 soft deletion support and our clone deletion support. So in the last couple of weeks, we've addressed some things like adding a proper versioning history. So now you can kind of copy the files and also are able to have a proper versioning support. And we are while doing this, we've also worked on properly preserving the file metadata, such as data types, custom labels, and all that. And of course, the last batch of work that's been that started about probably like a month ago is USDC support. Again, we mentioned this before. We do support pay with AI3, so but there will be a huge unlock for the user experience in case we support USDC, and that's what we are working towards. So there's been some further improvements in order to support USDC payments in the nearest future. But yeah, there's going to be a huge round of announcements once we fully implement it. So I'm sure that you're not going to miss it when we are ready to launch it. Yeah. These are the main AutoDrive updates I wanted to talk through.
Thanks, Emil. Yeah, so really, there's the continuing theme here. So we've kind of got like a bucket of resilience and reliability improvements, which is obviously an ongoing process. As we're seeing usage, some edge cases are coming out. There are some things that have proven to be fragile or just bugs are surfacing. So we're working through those. And then, of course, the other main vertical is making AutoDrive, and then by proxy, the DSN as easy to use as possible, make it as accessible. So the S3 compatibility improvements are kind of being, well, not kind of, they are being driven directly by some work we're doing on becoming a kind of a native R clone provider. That is our game, kind of our end game there. And that's actually given us some food for thought about kind of how we approached the S3 layer. So if we kind of took this hard rule that we need to lean into immutability, but actually that makes things a little bit awkward when you want to try and encourage existing S3 users and their pre-existing workflows over to UseU. So when you get a 403, when you try and delete a file, for example, that could be a headache. So although as long as it's heavily caveated that the storage, the back end storage is immutable, soft deletes at the S3 layer actually deliver a really big user improvement. So there's some changes kind of in that similar vein, and they are being driven by kind of the automated test suites that are baked into the rclone repo, actually. So yeah, we're getting quite serious, and we're pretty close there now. We kind of thought that this was going to be a let's say a lighter lift originally, but where we are very close to being is like highly compatible, and I think is kind of it's been worth the extra effort, including the versioning there, versioning by SID. We with CID, by content identifier, we get that almost for free because we're immutable, and if you change the version of the file, you get a different content identifier. So yeah, watch this space. We'll be doing some, Emil and I have been working on that together backwards and forwards, and I'm planning on putting out like some sort of forum post about the journey we've been on and the decisions we've made along the way. So keep an eye out for that. And then, again, USDC payments, it means that people with USDC on Ethereum is likely, at the moment, only for now, a much bigger pool of people than those who hold AI3 on Auto EVM. So this is about casting the net wider on the potential, I believe they call it the addressable market in marketing jargon. So yeah, all progress, of course. And I think that's it from us. I do just want to say, if you are a stakeholder and you've collected your unlocked tokens, the Guardians of Growth initiative is still running. So if you're not sure what to do with them, maybe you'd like to stake them, I will put the link in the description down below, and check that initiative out. And yeah, I think with that, we can sign off today, guys. Haven't seen any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channels, hit the bell for notifications, comment down below and tell us what you think about today's topics. And of course, keep building with Autonomous. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.